everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for our last Learn with Sawgrass session of the year. I am Rhonda with the Sawgrass Education Team, and Kesley has some great last-minute Christmas projects for you today. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get it on over to her. All right, Kesley, it's all yours.
All right, hello everyone. Well, we have some really fun projects to work on today. A couple of last minute gifts and things you can make to combine together to make one big gift. So why don't we start with this nice product right in front of me. This is a mug press. So if you're into making a lot of different mugs, a mug press is a super and fast method that you can use to make your mug. So I went ahead and I've got it all set up in the in my Sawgrass ink, and I sent it over to my printer. So I've gone ahead and printed this out. But I want to talk about, where's my blank one? This is just a 15-ounce mug from Michael's. It's the Make Market mug. So the first thing you're going to do when you get it is look at your settings. So if you're using an oven, a sublimation oven, it gives you the settings and the temperatures and the time right on here. So you can just pop it into your oven if that's what you have, or if you have a mug press. I really like the mug presses because it kind of takes a bit of the guesswork out of it for me. So I can just pop it right in there and I know it's going to go. So we'll just start off with this little 15-ounce mug, and I'm going to go ahead and remove our label, our packaging here. Let's get this going. There we go. All right, so we have this nice white ceramic mug, and as you know, there are so many different types of mugs that you can use that are out there. There's clear mugs, there's frosted mugs, any kind of cup mug that you want to use, you can do that for. So we'll just take your mug, and then I have alcohol, and I keep it in this little squirt bottle so I can use a lot. And you're going to rub your alcohol off with a lint-free cloth, and that ensures that there's no extra lint on your product that would transfer onto, it actually wouldn't transfer onto the product, but like when we wrap it, if there's like a hair or piece of lint down the center of my mug and I wrap my design on it, that little hair, the ink will go onto that hair and it won't penetrate onto the glass. So I'll have like a little line in my design, which you probably could do something pretty fun with that. So we're just going to go ahead and get this all cleaned up. And then I printed out my design. So I have cup of cheer, and I printed it out so I get one on each side of the mug. So it doesn't matter which side the person's drinking from, they get it on each side. Now, this is a pre-designed design in your Sawgrass. You can, if you want to, you can change the name on it. You can change the colors. You can really adjust this. So you could say Cup of Joe. You can change the colors out. Maybe if this is something you want to use for Valentine's Day, thinking ahead, you could say Cup of Love, and then just change out your green to another pink color, something like that. So you can use this design all year long and just kind of keep reworking the design. When I put my down, and then make sure your design is upside down as well. And I'll line up my mug and have it wrap around to the handles. Now, part of my paper is a little bit long, so I just need to take about a ½ inch off of each side of my paper. So part of putting this, the mug handle can always give you a little bit of a problem. And by problem, I mean you, in the mug press, your mug handle will stick out. That's what goes in this little slot here. So your design won't go all the way around your mug. Now, if you have, if you're putting it in a convection oven, you might have a little bit more success with that. But when I do mugs, I always try and remember to leave a nice clean line here. So I go about ½ inch away from the handle when I do my designs. It doesn't always work out, but I do try my best. Okay, so I turn my cup upside down. I've already cleaned it, but I've put my hands all over it. So let me just give it another little wipe down here so I don't have any fingerprints or anything on there. Okay. And then my design is upside down. So I'll sort of center the center of my design between my two, in between the handle and the actual glass. So I kind of eyeball the handle across. If you want it to be more exact, just take your ruler and you can just, with a pencil, mark the center of your mug if you wanted to, and then use that to line up your design. And then you would just take your design and kind of fold it in half and mark the center of your design. So I've got mine are overlapping, and you'll notice I have a little bit extra on one side. This is where that center, when you print, really helps get your designs in the middle consistently. So let's grab I have a pencil here. And I'll just grab my pencil and give myself a middle line to sort of follow. So just with my pencil, I just drew that line right in the middle. And then I'll just take my design and I will line it up the middle of my design on the middle there. Still have a little bit of overlap there, so I may trim that so it lays down smoothly on my mug. Let's do that. Also, if you still have any markets to go to this weekend, I guess this is the last weekend before Christmas, you can always take your mug press with you very easily. It travels very nicely, and you could take that with you on your journeys. So if you're going to a market, you can really offer customization. So you could say, cup of coffee for aunt, if you have aunts or uncles, if somebody's buying for, you can always add that on there. Then I'm going to take my heat resistant tape, and I'm going to tape just along the handle here first. I'll tape the top of the handle. And I want to make sure I get my tape on the ceramic, so I don't want to go over that paper yet. And then I'll just take another little piece of my tape and do the same thing. We'll tape it on the bottom and give it a pull, and not let it go onto the other tape and other paper yet. We're just going to put it right there in the center like that. Okay, and then we'll go do the same thing. We're going to pull your artwork across your mug. So I'm just walking it over my mug. If I want to, I can add a piece right there as I go along and do it a little bit more as I go along. My tape dispenser here dispenses the tape in like 2-inch pieces. So it makes it really easy just to grab a little piece and put it on. So the reason I walk it across the whole bottom there is I really want to make sure that I have a nice tight fit on my design against my glass. I won't be shrinking this. I won't use shrink wrap on this. It'll just go right into the mug press. And the cool thing about that is that your mug press is designed to hug your mug. So you really can only use so many mugs and so many types of cup styles in your mug press, because it really is designed to hug your mug. So it'll, you'll see when we put it in there, it'll close up really tight around my mug. And then I'm just going to put some more tape across the bottom here like that. So really kind of tape everything up and make sure it's stuck together. Now, if my design were going right to the edge, I'd really want to make sure that I tape that down really securely so it didn't move on me. But my designs are going to be in the middle of my mug, so I'm not worried about that happening. And I can just add a couple more pieces of tape along the bottom to make sure it is really hugged in there as best it can be. Just put those on there. If you don't have like a good touch with your ceramic from your design, you run the risk of it not transferring super strong. That little bit of gap there will ghost your design a little bit. So it won't be as bright as you're looking for it to be. So we're just going to use a little bit of tape. Some people like to just run their tape across the top, and I will do that when we get to this container, and I'll show you why I do that there. Okay, so once I have it all done, I just turn on my mug press, and as soon as I set my mug in the mug press, it's going to close up around it. So we're just going to put that right in there, and it feels the weight. And I just want to make sure that my handle is in the middle. Now, on the top of that mug press, as it goes, you'll see this little blinking light here. So as it moves across, it will indicate that it's heating up. It's heating up, and then it's going to be hot enough to do the transfer, and then it'll give me a beep when it has a minute left, and then I'll be ready to take it out. And then you can add, like, I just added some coffee pods in here, a little box of pods, and then a gift card. So if they're making their coffee at home, they've got a little gift inside, and then if they're on the go, they've got a little gift right there. So that packages up really nicely and makes your gift card, just takes it to the next level. All right, so while this is heating up, let's talk about our next gift. So this is sort of a gift with like a teenager in mind. Maybe you have a teenager who's getting a new car this year or turning 16, they're getting their driver's license. So a nice sustainable sports water bottle. These are stainless steel. They have a little straw on the inside. These are from Michael's, by the way. This is also a market 22-ounce bottle. And then, so it's got the little straw, the flip top, all that kind of stuff. So I thought this would be like a fun little way to package up a gift for a teenager. And what we have is a cute little design on the front, and then I modified the design a bit to hold be a sanitizer holder and a lip balm holder. So this is from Michael's, and these two neoprene sleeves are from Coastal Business. So let's go into Sawgrass. I'm going to share my screen here and show you how I did my, there you are, show you how I did my stripes. Okay, so here we go. So I've got a canvas set up to be the size I need for my tumbler, and then I built my stripes. Now I'm just going to go ahead, and when I add a design onto here, it will remove these stripes. So let's go to my designs. And if I just scroll down, the design I'm using it's a Gardner design. I think the designer's name is Gardner. So I don't know if I can pull it up with Gardner or not. Yes, here it is. So I chose this little rose design. I thought it was quite cute and a little feminine there. And then I'm going to add my background color to match the pink color of the rose. Now I have to tell you guys, I always use I have a little eyedropper I use to get my color, and I don't know why I didn't know this sooner. If you select an element, so let's say I want to have my background be this darker pink color here. If I select that element, I can just come down here, click on the element, and it gives me that element's color. So I just do a control copy on the color there, and then we'll go back to the background. And let's just say I want to make it a solid, and I'll add the color onto the background. So I've got a nice little background color there. Now what I need to do is add my stripes and resize my design. So for this one, I'm still going to go ahead and group these all together. So I'll right click on the design, group that design together, and then we'll shrink it down a bit like that. I can even go a little bit more, so shrink it down. So now to get my stripes, I just went into elements, selected shapes, and then I used the square, converted it into a rectangle. So we take the square, and I know this is, I think, 9 inches wide, 9.5 inches wide. And it was 4 inches tall, I think, oh no, 9 inches tall. So I'm just going to go ahead and give this like a 1 inch in height. If I don't have the centerpiece unlocked, it changes both the width and the height, and it maintains its perspective. But I want the whole stripe to go across. So we're going to make that 9 inches. 9.5 inches, okay. And then when I'm ready to, I can just come back to my design, pick a color out of my design, go down here, control copy, and then go back to my stripe and change the color on my stripe. like that. Oops, I thought I picked up the green. I guess I didn't. And then I can just repeat my stripe and change the color or not. Let's see, I probably want to repeat that one down here. So we'll add another stripe. And let's change this one to that green color. So what I'm doing is just building up all the different layers of my design. Don't think that's that color. Let's ungroup it so we can grab that one color we need. Go to our green. There we go. Select that color by clicking on it, highlight it, and there we go. And then you can paste that right into that color there. Just change that stripe to be a green stripe. So you can just build out your stripes. And then once you've got all your stripes done, you go into your layers panel and we'll move all the layers behind the design. And we'll keep the design up front. I'm going to group my design together again though, so it'll all move as one. So let's group that back together. Go back to our layers panel. Oops. And I can just move either, yeah, oh, there we go. All the stripes are behind that color. So now I can move these colors around and adjust my stripes how I want them to be on the back. Oh, here we go. It gave me my 1 minute warning. So let me stop sharing here. If you have any questions about that, please do feel free to ask how to build those stripes out, because that was really a fun way to do this design, was just to build out those stripes. And I pulled from the starting design and built out stripes for the tumbler, as well as stripes for the little hand sanitizer. And then the lip balm, I just added an initial and stripes on that. So we'll heat all those up. But I thought adding the stripes is such a fun way to customize a design and really make it look different than other people's designs are. Ooh, look at that smoke. So I'm going to pull this out. You want to use your heat resistant gloves. So we'll just pull this out of the mug press. Oops. There we go. Ooh, it is really smoking hot. Now you can use like tweezers or something to pull the paper off to get it started. So we can just pull this off with tweezers or other alternate something else that would pull it off nicely. If your design, I recommend not pulling it with tweezers or a weeding tool where your design actually is, because you could scrape your design. And especially with the steel products, you want to be extra doubly careful that you don't scrape that steel, because the steel products are painted with white. So if you scrape the white, you're going to scrape your design. How cute this is. Now, I do like to peel this off when it's warm. And I'm usually very impatient because I want to see what it looks like. I love this. And this is also a really fun thing to do for in the morning if you have family, out-of-town guests. Make everybody their own mug. So everyone has their own mug in the morning or something like that. Isn't that cute? And then I'll take those little tape pieces off at the end. But how easy is that to do? And now everybody has a mug. If you do one for everybody, if you're doing them at a market, you can have them set up like you can just change this word. Like if you have a coach you want to make a cup for, you could say like coach and then the coach's name or something like that, and really make them custom. So if you did cup of cheer and then on the backside took off cup of and changed cheer to somebody's name, if you wanted to. I should have done that with this one. But those are really, I think these are really super cute and very fun to work with. Okay, so we'll stay on the overhead camera for a minute, and I'm going to set this one aside. He's so nice and hot, toasty. On these cold days, it's kind of fun to work with the hot products, isn't it? I'm going to put that one up there. And then I'll grab this guy here, our little tumbler, so we can kind of talk about how we did this. Now, this one is done in the convection oven. So we'll go ahead and turn that on. And I have it set for 354 degrees for a solid 6 minutes. And of course, I printed it out. I printed this one out and I can't find it. What did I do with it? Give me a second, sorry. I know it's around here somewhere. Oh. All right, no worries. I'm gonna have to print this one out again. What did I do with it? Do you see it on the front anywhere? Do you see it? Oh no. All right, Rhonda, I'm gonna have to print this one out again. Except I didn't save it.
It's
So
not the paper sitting on the desk behind you,
no, that's for the little cosmetic thing.
and it's not the paper in the bag here.
Which one?
By the mug press, the bag has, maybe that's foam.
Yeah, that's just the blue. Oh, this little thing, that's my cleaning swatches. Oh, it's half a sheet of paper and I've just slipped it somewhere, but that's okay. I can go ahead and recreate that and let you guys watch how I do that, which is basically what I was working on over here. So let me just share this one. Okay, so I just need to add a few more stripes in here. Add some black stripes. Let's see. Right, pink on the top. I should do it differently, right? So I have a different design, but we're gonna do that like that. And then we'll have one of these. I'm gonna switch this one to black. Oops. Okay. The black one goes right in the center there. We're gonna make this one go bigger. Right in the center, and then I had two little white ones on either side. Mm-hmm. And group that so we get that white color. All right, sorry for all the quiet. I had this all ready to go. Not always the way. Let's change this one to that white color. Okay. And we'll put this one on either side of the black one. Like that. This kind of gave me a very like Kate Spady kind of feel. It was really fun design to do. So I'll just right click on that one and say send backward. Backward. You just keep moving your design back until it's all the way in the back of the design. Usually I can do this in the layers panel, but for some reason my layers are not showing up. I probably missed. Let's keep sending them back. All right. Just keep pushing those color up, went all the way back up. Rhonda, do you know why my layers, do you know, have any clue why I can get my layers to come back?
Click on the layers panel. Oh, it's an error. It has something to do with how things are grouped, but you
Oh.
can just send that to that one piece to back if that's
Yes.
what you need to do.
You know what?
Okay.
I just remembered, I do have this in my print utility. So I can open that up and then I can just reprint it that way.
Yeah, it should be in your recents there.
Yep. I totally forgot about that. So that's good. Okay, so I'll just show that with everybody. We're like a quick fast forward here. And I'll share my screen again to the print utility. Here we go. So here I have it here. This was for my tumbler right here. So I have it on my canvas. We're just going to make sure that it's got the stainless steel drinkware for the color. I'm on vibrant since there's no picture on it. And I can center it on the page. Again, the centering on the page just helps when you're trimming it down if you need to, or anything like that. So we'll get my little preview there and we're all set to print. So we'll go ahead and print that one out and I'm going to stop share. Okay, sorry, I knew I had that one ready to go, and I don't know what happened to my piece of paper. Go figure. So we'll pull that one out and then we can add that one in there. Now, I did leave space on the top for the white, and we'll talk a little bit about lining up your seams. Practice makes perfect. I still every now and then come up with a great one, and every now and then I come up with like a, oops, that didn't quite work out how I wanted it to. So for this design, since it's so wide, what we'll do is we'll trim down the sides so I have just the color on each side. And I did print it a little bit bigger than the dimensions for the tumbler, so that I had a little bit of wiggle room to work with. Now, with this being such a large piece, I don't really have as easy a time turning it over and working from the bottom of the design. So we'll go ahead and take off any plastic parts and just have our stainless steel. And I want to go ahead and spritz that off. So we'll spritz that right down. And then clean that off. Make sure you're using that alcohol, your lintless towel. And if you want to go to the overhead, I'll show you how I just trim this down and then put it on my tumbler. So some people like to use razors and a straight edge. I personally like to use my cutter, my paper trimmer. So I find this does a great job as long as I have a good blade in there. And I'm just trimming off a little bit of the color on the edge there because I've made it a little bit bigger than it needs to be. So I've given myself a little bit of a grace room. Oops, that one's crooked. Uh-oh, hope that's not too small. All right. So hopefully I didn't have to trim that too much, that it still will touch each other. If not, I may have to make it another print. Let's just make sure, test it out. Oh, good. Okay, so I'm good. Now, what I like to do is I'll turn this over and on one side, I'll put a whole line of tape. So we can just put that one whole line of tape down one side. And this way, if it overlaps a little bit, it sort of prevents the overlap from the ink coming over onto the other page. But you do want to have it right along that page with no ink, no tape showing on that side. So if you have a little bit of tape like I do, I'm just going to go back to my trimmer and just trim that down so that I don't have anything that's going to get in the way of my design connecting. So I'm just going to trim that off on each side. Put this down. And then I'm just going to trim a little bitty bit off and make sure I get that whole tape piece cleared off. So probably could have put that down beforehand, whatever works for you. Okay, so now you'll see I have it on the top and the bottom, a little extra room. And I want to make sure that I get the center of my design centered a bit. And we'll start putting this on. So my design is the same height as my tumbler. If it's a little bit extra, like so up here at the top, I have this curve bent here. And if I were to put my design on, you can see my curve is right there. So I can just trim down another 1/2 inch on the top of my paper so that I have like a nice smooth edge up there to work with. So we're just going to trim off about 1/2 inch, but I still like my bottom distance. So I'm okay if this pops up a little bit. If I really wanted it centered, I would just trim a 1/2 inch down there and then center it on the tumbler. Okay. So now we've measured that. Good to go. Make sure we have no little lint or anything in there. And then we're going to start taping this on. Now, for this design, because it is a cylinder, you don't really have to worry so much about being on the right side or the wrong side, I mean, like centering it that way. But one way we do want to center it is along the edge here. So I want to make sure that when I line up my lines, they actually line up fully. So I just kind of use my hands to line up the lines initially. So I've got this, when I say line up the lines, I'm talking about the stripe in my pattern. So I'm just taking this middle stripe and I want to make sure that those lines are lining up just as perfectly as I can get them. It'll never be perfect, but we'll get it very, 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 very close. So I'm happy with that. So I'll take my first piece of tape and put it on my white paper and pull that over to the blue. And then I'll do the same thing up on these lines. I want to make sure that this stripe is lined up. And we'll put that on and give it a nice pull, right like that. And we'll work this down the whole way. Give it a nice little pull. All right. And again, I'm pulling on it so that I don't have extra space. There's no extra air space between my design and my tumbler. So I'm really pulling on that and using my tape to make sure that there's no gaps in the design. And then when you turn upside down, you can see it's very snug on the tumbler, and at the top, it's very snug. Now, I always struggle a little bit with where the stainless steel is. If I don't have it protected with butcher paper or tape, sometimes my shrink wrap will stick quite nicely to that, which I'm not going for that look. So one thing I'll do is I'll just take my, take a long strip of my blue tape, run it along that seam, and give it like an extra snug fitting on that seam. And I'll let my tape kind of come up and over and down on the bottom. So I've got it down on the bottom like that and up and over on the top. And then we're just going to really work that seam and make sure that that is pressed together as best as I can get it. Then I'll take another long piece and I'll do the same thing on the bottom because I want to make sure that I have everything nice and snug. So I'm going to pull that really tight and make sure that that is holding on to the bottom really nicely. And then we'll just do that on the top. Okay, then same thing over here. We'll do the same thing on the top here. Now, one thing is about this design, I did have the center discovered with my design, with the design. So that was easy to do. And I wasn't matching up a pattern on the side. So sometimes matching up a pattern, I guess I was matching a pattern with the stripes. So let's see, I just need a little piece right there. So what I'm going to do next, because I don't want my shrink wrap to stay on my tumbler, is I'm just going to cover up this white stainless steel part of my tumbler with a little bit of extra tape. And I don't have a design up there, so I'm not too worried about, like matching the design up or anything on the tippy top there. I just want to be extra and have that on there. So it'll make it a little easier for me when I get ready to pull it. Okay. So there we go. Now I'm also going to create with this piece of tape. I'm going to create a little tab. So I'm trying this out. I'm going to create a little tab on this piece here. And I'm hoping this will help me pull off. You guys see that little tab I just did? So I'm hoping this will help me when I get my shrink wrap on there, that I can pull that right off with the shrink wrap. So we'll take a shrink sleeve and we'll wrap this up in the shrink sleeve. Now, the reason I'm doing this in the oven with the shrink sleeve is so that it will hold all of that design really tight onto my tumbler here. And this will take about 6 minutes to do the shrinking and everything. You can also, you don't have to use your heat gun to shrink this up before it goes into your sublimation oven, but I like to do that. You can also use a tumbler press. This is really snug on there. You can also use a tumbler press to do that. You can have a convection oven and you had a tumbler press. You could certainly use that. Okay, so we're gonna have that tab there. And I have a little bit of a tab up top here. All right, so what I'm gonna do is, once I've got my shrink wrap on there exactly how I like it, I'm gonna go ahead and use my heat gun and shrink it up. I'll kind of start at the bottom and then slowly work my way around. Now, it doesn't have to be super perfect. You just want it to be close enough, because like once you put it in the oven, it will shrink it up a little bit more. And what that does is it holds that design onto your tumbler really tightly. So you can either do it all the way or just do partially. So for today, I'm just going to do partially. All right, now this is ready to go into my oven. And I'm just going to tap my oven and make sure that it is heated up and ready to go. And while it already did heat up, but I just need it to be ready to go for me. So it'll just take a second to heat that right back up, and then we'll be right on there. And I'm just going to print off my other pages. Somehow I'm missing those two. And I will do the hand sanitizer and the lip balm. The hand sanitizer and the lip balm are neoprene, and those are they're from Coastal Business. So you can find those there. Okay, so I'm just waiting for this to give me the woohoo thumbs up. It's starting to heat up for me. And while that's working, we'll talk about the neoprene cases. So the neoprene cases I used two different ones. I used one that will hold a hand sanitizer, and this is just a little one of those oval hand sanitizers, pops right in there. And then one that uses holds my chapstick. And this is really fun. These are great little gift items. If you need some little stuffers or just little trinkets for your family, this is really cute. You can put their initial, you can put their whole name. If you have kids graduating, this is a really cute, this whole set is really fun put it in there. If they're graduating from high school, you can put it in their college colors. So like for my kids who are at JMU, I would do, purple and gold and white, and maybe, some JMU on here, and then have their graduation year, something like that. You could do lots of fun choices there. So with your sublimation, what we're going to do, the neoprene, and I'm just waiting for my oven to beep at me and tell me I can put this in there. That's hot enough. With your neoprene is a polyester. So if you are working with the neoprene, just know it's a polyester. So it's 100% polyester. It will hold your design nicely. You can also, if you are a seamstress or sewer, a sewist, you could make your own lip balm holders, keychains with scuba fabric. If you go into your craft store and look for scuba fabric, that is the same type of fabric here. Now I took my hardware off so it can fit into my press without having the hardware on there and damaging anything. So I'm just going to take my hardware off and set it aside. For my design here, I'm using, okay, I don't know if you want to go show the front mirror, but it just beeped at me and it automatically starts to count down. So I'm going to pop that in there. And in 3 minutes, I'm going to put on my gloves and we'll turn it over. Oops, I was too quick. It's in there. So I popped it in there and my time was set at 6 minutes. So at about 3 minutes, I'm just going to rotate it and turn it over. You don't have to do that by any means. You don't have to rotate it and turn it over. I'm going to try it. See if it makes a difference. It does. I've done it before and it doesn't. Okay, so here are my printout for the hand sanitizer. And these are really fun and easy, cute little gifts. That last minute hostess gift if you need it. If you're taking neighbors some cookies, you could throw in some hand sanis for their kids or anything like that. You know, we're coming up on cold and flu season. So that's always a fun thing to do, to share the love and share the sanitizer. All right. So one thing I like to do when I'm working on an odd shaped item is I'll take a piece of paper and put my item down and just trace out a line to show where my item goes. And this helps me when I am putting it onto the unusual item. So if we want to go back to the overhead, I'm just going to trace my outline here of my neoprene little hand sanitizer. So we'll just do that. So then I can use my light box and I know exactly where to place my design. And because I know exactly where to place my design, I want to make sure that I use my tape to tape my design down. Now, I'm going to just go to the top of my design, have the black there. Actually, I could go pink on the top. Let's do like half pink and half pink on the bottom. So push that up just a little bit. So we'll have just a little stripe of pink there and pink there. I can also just double check that it's not going to interfere with where that design, the slit is. So I know that when I put it on, my design will go below my slit. If I want to move it down just a smidge more, I could do that and make sure there's my slit, plenty of room. So that was my intent, was to leave myself plenty of room on my design to have my slit be sealed up. So this is actually going to be on the solid side first. And then when we turn it over, we'll do it on the smaller side. And I bet I've been 3 minutes chatting. So, it's 3 minutes and 9 seconds. I'm going to open up my oven and just rotate my mug so that that's turned around. And then we know we have 3 minutes. Now with my little guy here, when I put it in my press, I have all of this extra on the side. And you want to make sure that you use your blowout paper so that you don't leave an impression on your pizza. So I'm just going to take a 12 by 12 square of butcher paper and fold that in half. And I will put that so that it doesn't blow out onto my press. It blows out onto the paper. So everything's covered up and I'm good to go there. Now, actually, I think that's a little bit, I'm going to switch around and do it this way because I don't want it to get on there. So we'll put that there and I'm going to set this aside. I can only do one heater at a time. So I'm going to set this aside. And as soon as our tumbler's done, I'll be able to start my next heater. Okay. So now for the little lip balm case, again, I'm just going to take a piece of cardstock or a piece of butcher paper here and draw out my design. So I know exactly where to place it on the pattern and where it's going to fit. So I know I need that K to go down towards the bottom there. And then we'll I need to trim this down a smidge. So we have the K on each side. So we trim here. And then we'll trim there. You can do the solid stripe on the other side, or you can do your design on both sides. I think I'm going to do my design on both sides. And with this kind of letter, you have to make sure that your K is like which is the top and which is the bottom. So this is the top, and you can just turn over and see, okay, that K is good. So we're just gonna put this down. I'll line this up on my page here. Let's put it up about like there. So now I can kind of center the K onto the lip balm. And same method. So once I've got that laid out, I'm just going to put my neoprene lip balm down. We'll put some tape on it like this, and then that's going to hold that design down. And I'll do the same sublimation sandwich as I did before, making sure it goes butcher paper down, your design down, your print down, and then your last row of butcher paper. And those are ready to go as soon as we can scoot over to that press. So we have about 5 seconds left. Okay, let me move some of this stuff out of the way so I can pull out our guy here. We're just going to put that right on this pad. I use these little silicone pads when I'm taking something hot out of the oven so it doesn't hurt my work surface. Totally optional. You could use, a wood cutting board or something like that. I just don't like to put it right on my work surface. So I like to kind of protect my work surface. All right, now we're going to see if that tab is going to help me pull this off. And I kind of think it's, we'll see. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. It kind of did. It pulled up about half of it. So we'll just keep pulling this up. Oh, wow. Oh, I almost had it. How about that? It's a good workout. I don't have to go to the gym today. Maybe I should go to the gym and maybe I would have been able to get it all the way off. That first one.
I had to do a lot in the oven over the weekend, Kesley, and all I kept thinking about was you struggling with it.
I don't know why it's such a, it should be so easy. But I make it harder than it is, I bet.
No, but it's strong because it needs to be strong. And as I was sitting there trying to rip it off, and I was really struggling with it. It was like,
I can feel it.
It was like 3 in the morning, and I'm in my office just laughing out loud to myself, just like, okay, this is just how this is. This is how it works.
But look at that. I love it. Now I do have a little bit of a white line in the back, and I think that's because I cut off just a little bit of that extra where I had the tape. So just remember to make sure it matches up. But look at that. Isn't that the colors are so pretty and beautiful in these? I love this. I think this can make a great gift. All right, let me turn off this guy and I'll pull up my flat press. So for the neoprene, I run my flat press. Come on over. You get to be part of the show too. At 380 for 60 seconds. You could do it a little bit less or a little bit more, but 60 seconds is probably the most I would do it. You could pull it back, test a few, 50 seconds might be enough for you to do it. It's so fun. Ron and I were discussing if we were ready for the holidays yet, but if you can do some quick gifts like this in an hour, you are good to go. You don't have any problem with your holiday prep. Okay, this one's still going to be hot. I guess maybe there's more Land's End than I said it was more like Kate Spade, but maybe it's more Land's End style with the colors. It's giving me New Eastern vibes. Okay, so put that back. So my press is heating up. It'll heat up pretty quickly. This is the drawer press. So instead of like a clamshell, I don't have to move it. I just kind of pull out my drawer and then I will lay my pieces that I've already done on the drawer. And as soon as it's ready, we just can close that right up. I've got everything taped in there, so it's ready to go. So we'll just put those right on there just like that. Both of them in there. So I've got, just don't forget, you want to have your sublimation paper as your top layer, and then you put a layer of butcher paper over that. So that keeps everything nice and sealed in. And these designs do have some blowout because there's so much on the edge. So just keep that in mind when you're working on it. Okay. So I think we'll have, I don't know if we'll have time to do this last one. This is a really cute little pouch. I found this on Amazon. It's just a little makeup or pencil pouch. So it has 2 zips on it. It's super easy to do. And in fact, I did my design, I didn't take into account my fold over when I did the design. So my design on my sample bag is a little bit too big. But how cute would it be to add somebody's name on this side of it, turn the design upside down, and then you have this on the front of it. So if you're doing a bag like this, just measure your backside here so you know how much you have to go. So it's about 1 inch on this flat back. So my design should have been lower, but you take it off of here and then you only have this. And when you're looking at this, you're not thinking about, oh, it's going to fold over. So just remember that. So I can, while we're waiting for this to heat up, or the one to heat up, we can sort of make another design. Here we go. Anyway, I had it somewhere. So we have this design here. Rhonda, can you do the overhead one more time? So we can then, I'm going to cut this design up a little bit. So again, like you're going to have that 1 inch that folds over, about like that much of it folds over. So your actual workspace is much smaller than you think it is. So your actual workspace is at most 4 inches. I mean, that's like pushing it. So it's more like, I would say 3.5 is the biggest you would want your design to be, maybe even just 3 inches. So if I come and I look back at this design, my Polaroid here, it's below 3 inches with all the little extra pieces. So it's below 3 inches. So what I'm going to do to salvage my design, because I like to do that, we're going to just clip this off here. And then we'll have our little Polaroid. This was from the Polaroid cameras from the collection of Pamela Prince, and her designs were really perfect for teenager, just good body imagery kind of designs. I liked her design quite a bit for this kind of teenager genre. So if I take my design and I want to just put it on the middle, I can work that right there and it's fine. I'm going to go up just a smidge so I can kind of have that. I don't have to worry about the seam. And then the phrase is make every day a little less ordinary. So if I go down from that inch, should probably paper trim this off so I know exactly how big my design is. But we're just going to go like this a little bit. So if I wanted to, I could either bump this up a little bit. I really don't think I want to. I think I want to keep that right there. And then we'll just say, make every day a little less ordinary. So we're going to make sure we're down at least 1 inch. I could also bump this over this way and put the design on like this. That might be cute. Let's do that. I think I like that. So we'll just trim out that part. So that's going to go on. Actually, do I want that? I'll take that, tuck that over here. And you do have some Velcro little tabs there to work with, but I think we'll be okay. So we'll put that in there, and then we'll do the make every day. That will go there, a little less ordinary. And if I wanted to, I could even cut this up to make it fit in a little bit better. Now, I could have done this in the software. I could have made my life a little bit easier and done this right in the software. But sometimes the way you see it on your camera, on your software, in your monitor, isn't always the way it's going to actually come out. So sometimes you visualize something working one way, but then when you do it, it's like, oh, it should have been the other way. Now, I did go ahead and I did a heat press on this before I started to make sure there was no moisture in this fabric. It's a polyester. And I just wanted to make sure that there was no moisture in there. And it was, you know, as dry can be. So I did that one. Ooh, we're almost there. What's our other one? So we'll be able to get this one done. Yay. And this bag is really cute. If you are making pens, You can make some pens that coordinate with this design and fill it up with pens, or you could do like little compact, mirror compact, something like that if you want to do the makeup. Okay, so our camera is going to go on there like this. All right, so this is kind of how I'm salvaging my design because I already printed it out. And again, like I said, I would probably go back in the software and give myself a new template and do this better than I did on this one, because like I said, you lose that fold right. You have that fold right there. So you lose a bit of your design in there. All right. And okay, we are ready. If we want to switch back over to our front camera, this one is all heated up now. We're at 374 for 60 seconds. And that's the temperature I needed for, let me double check. My neoprene is 380 for 40 to 50 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead. Actually, I'm going to turn down my time and we'll do it for 50 seconds. My pencil pouch is 375, so that my temperature will come down a little bit more. So we'll just go ahead and do this one. Push it in and I press it down and we'll let that one heat up. And then I'll add this side onto the other side and I'll show you how to match up my stripes. So once this is done, I can bring it back over to my table. We'll match up the stripes. I'm putting my bag right up here. Don't let me forget that. We will need new butcher paper because that will just blow through the butcher paper. So I'll go ahead and use 2 pieces of butcher paper on that, one for each. My vintage, I probably could fit onto one single sheet, but I just want to make sure I'm good to go. All right. So I'm curious, does everybody clean up as they work? Do you just kind of like push it to the side while you're working until you need that space, and then you clean it up? I'm gonna push it to
Like
the
a
side.
bomb went off.
I'm the same way.
It depends
All
on
right.
how big of a hurry I'm in.
There
Like
you go.
yesterday, I was able to throw things away as I went because I wasn't in a huge hurry. But the other day I was, and I kind of stacked it.
You're like, uh-oh. I know, I just kind of throw things on the floor and then pick it up afterwards. All right, so I've got my neoprene keychain holders on my desk surface, and we're gonna just take them off. It turns out so cute. There's the one, and I'll turn it over so I can add the next piece, and then our other one turns out really cute. My design's a little bit big for this one. I could have made it a little bit smaller, but overall, I think it turns out really, really sweet. Okay, so I just am going to turn it over. Now, the tricky thing is lining up your stripes again. So what I like to do is I'll come back over here, and while I have my design on my paper here, I'll take my other design and line it up with the stripes. So if that makes sense. So I'll make a little sandwich here, lining up my stripes. And you don't have to do this because you have a black seam on the side. So your stripes really, they won't show up exactly as you have them. But you can now see, I had it just about right, but I need to get it pushed over so that I have my design on the center. So I can just make sure, flip it up. You'll see that. So I want to make sure my design is inside the stitches. There we go. That one's inside the stitches. And then I'll just double check that all my lines line up along the side. Now, once it's done, you won't be able to see those lines. So when you finish with it, you don't have to worry about, oh, it doesn't match up. But if you want to be particular, that's a good way to do it. Okay, so we'll put that one in, and this will go in for 60 seconds. Sorry, 50 seconds. And then I'll do the same thing with this one, and we'll do them both at the same time.
You know, you had those clipped onto the tumbler with the carabiner.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me think, you know, you have to look for them. They're not as readily available as the chapstick and the hand sanitizer holder. But they do have inhaler holders.
Oh, that would be good.
For kids in sports, you could clip their inhaler to their water bottle like that with the cover.
Oh, that's smart. That is smart. I did this upside down. Did I do that upside down? I think I did it upside down. Let's see if we can fix this. I think I did mine upside down. I love that inhaler idea. And there are people who will, okay, so this one's a little bit, I did my K upside down on this one. So you see my lines are going to be off, but this is the back. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. We'll get it fixed on the front. Just as I was saying, make sure your K is right side up, and I did it backwards. But I think that's right, hopefully. All right, so we're going to put that back into there. Give that 50 seconds, and then I'll lower my temperature down for this stitched bag here. It is polyester. It is 100% polyester. It's just a thinner material than your neoprene. So you can bring your temperature down just a bit on this. So this temperature is 375, whereas our neoprene is 380. So we're only talking about a 5-degree difference. And then you have this Velcro cushy side here. So I'll put this out of my press. It's not that thick. So if you keep it all together, I don't think it would make that big a difference in your results. But I'm going to go ahead and keep that out of my press. So I'll take another sheet of butcher paper and I'll have that ready to go. And just so you guys can see, when I have time and I'm not chatting, I do get my letters to go properly. So my K does stick up nice, stick up the right way on this one. I think it does at least. At least I think so. All right, let's just see how we did. And I'll turn my press down to 375 for my temperatures. And you may ask yourself, like, does it really make a difference that 5 degrees? Does it really make a difference? I would test it out and try different temperatures and see if it makes a difference for you. It may or may not. Oh, isn't that adorable? So if you had your inhaler, you had your sanitizer, you had your keys, your lip balm, you would be all set. And there we go. And then you've got your tumbler. So we just, for the tumbler, we have to put the straw back in and just close that right up. It's funny. With this design on the circle, I wonder if you could do it either direction. I'm curious if which direction I did it the first time I did it. So I put brave at the top the first time, and this time the brave is at the bottom. So just kind of something to think about. This one has the brave at the top. So I probably should put creative at the top on this one. But again, that's a minor little detail, right? Okay, so let's see. When you want to put your rings back on, I did upgrade my rings. They come with the silver rings, but I updated it and I used a big ring for the hand sanitizer, and I used a little ring for the lip balm. So you can really do it either way. If you want to update your color, you certainly can. So I just put that little one in there to get it started. Then I just put my neoprene right in there like that. And we're just going to whip that on around. And then you just need another little carabiner. Again, if you're doing markets, people like to customize their findings. So if you wanted to, you could have like a little dish set out for people to pick which type of keychain they want, what kind of gold they want. You could have a couple different ones, maybe a rose gold, a nickel, an antique gold, anything like that. And then you have your carabiners out. And there's a ring, I think I got this at Michael's or Joann's. It's a ring that has like 3 little slots in it. So you can open these up a little easier and not worry about damaging your nails. It's just a cute little ring.
Walmart
So if you're doing a lot of them.
Walmart carries them too in their jewelry section.
Perfect.
You can get the ring, and you can get they call it split ring pliers.
Yes.
It's a little bit bitty pliers that just is perfect to go in between those so you can slide something on the split ring.
Yeah. And it just makes it that easier. So you're not like, pulling on it to get it to go through. There we go. That's on through. Okay. So now if we can go, Rhonda, one more time to the main camera again. So now I've got both of my little keychains right on there. And if you didn't want to put the lip balm and the hand sanitizer inside there for them, let them pick what they want. That's another, you can have that out. Okay, so I'm just going to put my Velcro here out of my bag. I've got my sandwich, my sublimation sandwich going on there. And we're just going to let that go down and do it for 50 seconds. It should be a minute. I didn't change my time, so it's going to go down for 50 seconds. So we'll see. Hopefully it won't make a big difference. All right, but I love adding that, changing that color out and doing a gold color instead of the silver. This is a nice one that comes with it, but I don't know, people in my area, I think would like the gold. But if you're like the antique is a nice color, my mom would like the antique coloring the color. So everybody has different styles. So that is something you could do. And I don't know, I don't know if you can sell hand sanitizer. And I know it sounds crazy, but I don't know if you can resell hand sanitizer. You may be able to. So if you have a source, you could always have this at your fair.
That's going to depend state to state.
Yeah, there's some guidelines on that, I think.
Yeah,
Okay, so
it has to do because it has most of them contain alcohol, which they consider a chemical. So each state is going to have a different rule on that.
let's take off these. Yeah, so just check on your state if you can do it. Look at how cute is that. Make every day a little less ordinary, and then you've got your little bag. You can add your little keychains to your bag too, if you wanted to. If this was going to be like a pencil pouch, and you had like a pencil sharpener or something you wanted to add onto there, and we'll just put this right on the top. And look at that. So I think it definitely makes a difference. Pulling it down versus how I had it, where it went over it, my design went over the top. Womp womp. So that's the womp womp one, and then look at how cute and fun is that. Again, this design is in the designs already done for you, and I'm just looking at my notes to see which one this is. Pamela Prince is this design, and this is Gardner was her name or his name. But this was, they had some really fun collections. You could do a cosmetic bag that matched, or if your vibe is coffee, you could do a whole coffee theme, whatever your vibe is. All these things are quick and easy gifts that you can make for people. Customize them if you want to. If you're reselling them, leave off the customization, and then they can add the customization if they want to. But I think we got all the questions answered. I know Rhonda was busy over there.
Yes, we did.
That's great. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for having me, Rhonda. I hope this was fun, and I hope everyone has a great end of the year.